And just like that, it's like I never left. I'm back, homies. It's good to see you. And yeah, I did disappear. That's fine. You know, it happens. Things go wrong every now and then. And you kind of just got to take a minute to be like, you know what? Let me just take a little bit of time to myself. Because just because I'm going through something or something's not going the way I want it to does not mean I need to make a video about it. You know? Because I was comfortable with what was going on. I felt secure. So I was like, you know, let's just take some me days. Let's relax. Get you up to date. Last you may have heard on the last video I put up was the day I was benching, and I switched it to thumb's length, and that is the correct call in the long term. I know that for a fact now. Unfortunate part is that, you know, my bench has always been a little asymmetrical. I haven't ever worried about it because it's never caused me really any pain, and I come to try to fix it. I come to do the thumb's length. It's poking at muscles I haven't touched in years, and while that's good for the long run, I went just heavy enough to where it was too heavy, and that was the biggest mistake in the moment. And again, you know, there's never really pure just mistakes. Like, I don't regret it. It's what happens, but you got to learn through it. It's never the amount of injuries you go through that make you a good lifter. It's how well you push through them and efficiently recover to where you try to never do that again. Personally, I've never injured my shoulder in my whole life, which is actually really surprising because of how much Olympic lifting I've done, especially when I used to go way too hard all the time. But essentially what happened was the upper lat muscle and lower shoulder muscle that connect on the back part of your armpit on my left side was bruised. And I'm like, okay, that muscle must have been slightly tweaked or maybe a little minor pull. I'm not going to worry about it. I took like 4 days off, just relaxed until there was no pain really. And I was like, okay, cool. We'll move with that. We'll just take it one step at a time and feel it out. And I come in today, and I always have the mindset of just, you know, if it feels right, if I deserve to do these lifts, if you know the prerequisites of my innate principles have been met, let's let the ego take over a little bit, you know? Because the warm-up felt great. You take it one lift at a time. Every single warm-up set felt great. I had no complaints. It was whatever. And I'm like, all right, great. You know, if it feels good, I got to try. That's it. You know, I don't care if I fuck up. I don't care if I fail in the end of it, because I tried my best. I put my passions behind it, and I'm going to learn from this. That's the important part. I will learn from it to the maximum of my ability and then get right back on it right where I'm supposed to. And yeah, I ended up actually hitting my goal weights for both snatch and overhead squat, which was extremely surprising because the shoulder was just tweaked. I was like, okay, I guess we're just built different, which means that the prior training before this was peaking me, which is also good news. The unfortunate thing that I learned by the end of the workout was when I started getting to the snatch pulls, every time I'd like let some weight kind of dead hang on my arm, it almost felt like the not the bone, but it's like that feeling where your shoulder like kind of like semi tries to dislocate, because some people can just do that. I don't know who can relate to that, but it felt like the muscle was almost trying to feel like it was dislocating, which was really odd. It was a bit more strenuous than I really wanted, and that's the kind of discomfort that I could really tell that I had actually pulled something different than my initial precognition, you know. And so it took some time to stretch it out. I didn't finish my snatch pulls. I just did a lightweight recovery set to go a little easy on it, and turns out the bulk of my rear delt connecting closer to the upper end of my shoulder is what's actually pulled, like really pulled. Again, it's not a big injury. It's not a big deal. It's just a matter of I didn't realize what was injured in the first place. And while I recovered great, you know, all that, got to try going heavy a little bit today, this should not have been a heavy day. You know, if I had known prior what was actually hurt and how deep the pull was, it would have been a full recovery week from the get-go. But again, that's how you learn, you know. I ended up getting to a 245 for a triple on snatch, because this is the new program I was talking about a little while ago, where I'm now going by 5% jumps according to the specific maxes of each lift, instead of just 10, 20-pound jumps at a time. because, you know, the jumps from a back squat compared to a snatch are never going to be the same. It's not as efficient that way, and it's been slowly catching up to me. So I've decided to go back to 5% jumps just to make sure that everything's even and equal. And 245 flew. It felt great. I didn't have a single miss today, which is nuts. That's better than I've ever done. Last time I hit 245 for a triple, I nearly died. And man, so that's great progress in and of its own. Got to overhead squat. Shoulders started really getting tired. But I did end up doing the 255 for 3 sets of 5, because I'm switching to a 5-3-1 split now on my power lifts, or like my main squats and my main benches, so that I can isolate the strength a little bit more without overbearing my core. And there was definitely some discomfort in my shoulders a little bit, but for the most part, it just felt like they were weak. You know, there was never actually any pain and nothing that was actually limiting my mobility or my ability to lift the weight, so I didn't question it. I gave it my best effort. That's great. And then again, when I got to the snatch pull, I was like, okay, shit. Definitely a little bit more pulled than just tweaked, which is fine. That's how we learn. That's something I've really come to understand, is a single set, you know, a single goal weight in a single workout in a single day can really set up the level of confidence, the level of assuredness that you'll have for the rest of your cycle in this program. You know, how well you truly believe that you can do. And when I did those snatches, I'll tell you what, I definitely was amping myself up. I'm like, I'm doing 275 at the end of the program. I'm doing whatever I want. This program's going to be the next peak. And as you can tell, that did not exactly happen. You know, and that's, again, it's completely fine. That's how it is. You can't really stress the small stuff when it comes to the extent of what your body can actually do, because you never actually know unless you try. You know, I was talking to a homie about it today, and I was telling them how if everything feels good and I feel like I can really do it, I just do my absolute best and I send it as hard as I can. Because what else are you going to do to really understand your body's physical capabilities? And she took that in a way that was, overbearing on my body potentially. And I explained it that it's not just one way; it's vice versa. You know, I as much as I do whatever I want when my inner prerequisites have been met, and I can let the ego go. It's the exact same way when I start feeling physically hurt. You know, like today when I felt like my shoulder was really tugging in a bad way and it was really overstrained, I just immediately, there's no point in putting up any more weight. You know, it needs time to heal. You know, even though today's efforts may make the recovery longer than it could have been in the first place, it's going to make my education and my experience of the matter twice as gold worthy for not just now, but also the future. I'm going to grow through this injury so well because just the fact that I didn't further injure it while going as heavy as I wanted to, you know, that is something I'm extremely grateful in and of its own. Most of the time when people have a hard pull and then they do something like I did today, they can't do shit. They injure it in a major way. So I'm very thankful for that. And it's just even more reason, even more passion, even more desire to just let it recover, you know, do as best I can to get back to that peaked point. Because I'm still peaked, don't get me wrong. I'm just waiting for this one limitation to let go. And the moment I have that ounce of freedom back, I can do whatever I want. And that confidence from these individually amazing days are going to take over. Oh man, it's got me excited. Physically, when it comes to everything, like I gotta do the entire workout as a whole. I can't just say like, oh, well, the snatches were good, so best score ever. The workout as an entirety, you know, I'll give it a solid 8.45, because the snatches alone were near perfect. It was amazing. I didn't start feeling some strain on my shoulder until the very last rep. And again, it's the last rep of the heaviest set. I expect that kind of thing. It's just discomforted to a point. Overhead squats started really taking over. You see it. I start walking forward on 2 of my top sets, and it's just really hard for me to hold it together, especially just because that's where the shoulder discomfort is. And then I couldn't even do snatch pulls today because it wasn't worth it in the long run of it. But that doesn't mean I wasn't physically amped. It doesn't mean that I didn't feel physically good. It just means I'm physically limited, but I still made the most of what I'm currently capable of. You know, my potential was still met today, even if it wasn't as amazing and as elegant as it typically appears to be, you know? Mentally, shit. I mean, I can still give it a solid 8.7. You know, it was still a really great day. I had a lot of fun getting to throw something that heavy after taking so many days off. It really shows how much stronger I've become. And especially taking a good rest every now and then is a good thing. I could have been in the gym doing some recovery work. And, you know, most of the people in the U.S. know that we were snowed in on one of the days. But every other day I could have been working out if I wanted to. I wanted to make sure that I came back on my own terms when I got passionate about it for my own reasons, not just for the sake of obligatory, I have to show up because I just feel the need to, for stupid reasons. I want to come back when it feels like I've earned the right to give it that maximum effort again. You know, at least attempt it and then learn from that. And I got to put in that maximum work. It didn't go as according to plan, but I still had fun. I didn't get injured. I learned from it, and the recovery will now be twice as efficient, twice as good as it was in the first place. I got to take my time off, so now I'm going to keep going to the gym. I'm going to keep coming in, but it's going to be a whole recovery week minimum, maybe another week after, just until my shoulder feels at 100% again. And I don't know when that's going to be, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to pick up as much weight as I can, as comfortably as I can, with as much passion as I can. You know, I do not care if I fail. I care if I don't try and I don't give it that maximum passionate effort behind the barbell, you know? So tomorrow when I come in, it's going to be the normal clean and jerk back squat day. After a day like this, the clean and jerks are definitely going to be fully recovery based. I'm not going to do anything crazy heavy. I'm just going to do something really technical maybe. It might just honestly be just the normal technique, not doing anything special like on my last recovery week, and just making sure I do the bare minimum to keep my strength where I want it to be, you know, and just really stretch that muscle just enough to feel good. Other than that, back squat, I don't know if my rear delt's going to be affected by it because I do really high bar astergrass squats. So when it gets really heavy, my elbows do flare back just slightly when I pick up the heaviest weight, and that could put some strain on my shoulder. So I don't know if I'm going to go heavy on squats, but if I can, I'll keep squats as strong as they can be. If not, who cares? I'll just maintain until I can do whatever I want in the future. You know, you got to have that absolute hope that you're going to be able to come back in and do whatever you want because you earned it. You know, that's the biggest thing. I don't care if I have to do some, supposedly weak deload, baby weight weeks. That's what's necessary for me to pick up the heaviest weight possible, and then know that no matter what happened, I did everything to the best of my ability, not what's expected of my abilities, you know? Especially by, comparing yourself to your past self. It just doesn't matter. All you can do is compare yourself to whatever you did today in the present moment and hope that you can do better next time, because you don't know how your body's going to grow. You don't know how whatever you do is going to affect you. Like today, I thought I was 100% healed. By the end of the workout, it was the exact opposite. My shoulder's now definitely a bit more strained like it was on the first day when I had to take some time off. But again, it's just I'm going to grow real quick, figure it out, get back to it, and you'll see some heavy shit fly over my head like we all want to see. And I'm telling you, I've never been this peaked before. It's going to be nuts when I get to do whatever I want again. So just, I appreciate y'all being patient. I know I just kind of bounced out for a minute, but again, I don't do these videos for the sake of just people watching or just having people click on it. I do the videos for the sake of my mental health and wanting to keep track of my individual progress and the process of it all. I love seeing how I've grown from the previous videos up to now. And if that means I need to take a couple days off and just relax, whatever, I had fun. I just got to play games for a bit. School wasn't that strenuous this week. Work was a bit strenuous. They called me in on the snow day, and I ended up working an 18-hour shift because we quite literally had to show up as early as possible and leave late because of all the ice on the road. And, I might have almost slid off the road into a ditch, but we did it, and that's what matters. And we're here now. So I hope you guys keep tuning in. I love shooting the shit with you guys. Let me know how the lifts and lives have been going, and I appreciate whoever's back to hear whatever random bullshit I got to talk about. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.